Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salam. Hayya ala salam. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله ونحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا ومن يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعرفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله وأتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي قال رسول الله في الحديث شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Fellow Muslims, Jamaat Muslimin, today's topic I've chosen to talk about is the suffering. This suffering is usually, it's not one thing, it is a personal. It can be psychological. It can also be a spiritual suffering. If you do not understand suffering, where it comes from, what is this reason, we cannot handle it properly. And people become atheists because of that. They do not recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence. So in today's khutbah, my aim is really to impart some of the things which Quran and Sunnah is saying about suffering. And I will relate to you a story of the most suffered individual in Quran of the past is Ayub alayhi salam's story. The story of Ayub alayhi salam, it has become like a verb. You know, if you say Ayub you, I means you really suffered. And that's the one I intend to talk about today from the viewpoint of our Quran and Sunnah. But there is a story in Quran is not given much details. I have to study a lot of Jewish Bible, really, where they have given a 42 chapters about the story of Ayub. They call it Job. But I think they are concluding a little bit differently what we are. And this story of Ayub alayhi salam is the word Ayub, which is Job, is started with I, is a Semitic language. This is the one which is the Hebrew word. And that's where I think Arabic word called Ayub alayhi salam comes. And if you look at Aramaic, and it is called Oyov, that means Ayub means the one who repented. That is the meaning coming from, and they call it Job when translated in English. That's the story. So let me start with what is this problem of suffering? And that Jewish Bible as well as our Quran is trying to tackle that, the idea of suffering. Jewish Bible has, this story was written in 6th century, about 2,600 years ago. And ours is basically our prophet's time, which is 1,400 years ago. So at that time, people's understanding of suffering was completely different. They always believed the suffering is the result of sin. If somebody commits sin, they get punished. It's a retributive justice. It's a justice which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking revenge against. And they also blame the victim of the people who are suffering. For example, they say because they committed sin. And they also associated that thing saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not generous. He's not Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So this all starts, if you look at go back long time ago, our religion is monotheistic religion. We say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. He's Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. But if you look at the stories of the past, It's all mythological religions where God is God born. He has got date of birth and he has son. Some gods are good, some gods are bad, but we don't associate those things with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Allahu samad, he is eternal. He's Ar-Rahman Rahim. When we pray all the time, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Rahim. This is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we worship. He's alone. But at the time this book in Jewish Bible was written, all around them, the people were mythologically, they were believing a different type of God. So this is the one where they are saying the suffering is the result of sin. For example, if that is the case, that's why I think even in Europe, even if you look at the 15th century, up to 15th century, they were burning beaches. If some women got raped, they blame the woman, for example. But this book of Job is telling, no, that's not right. Our Quran is just stating this thing a long time. Our Quran's concept is completely clear. So let me start this thing, the story, why people suffer. What is the question of evil? What is the question of injustice, justice? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this thing in Quran. He's trying to tell all those things in different ayahs and different forms. So let's look at the Quranic ayah, Quranic story first. Ayub alayhi salam's story is the one, it has been mentioned, and I'm taking all these things from our 10th century scholar, Ibn Kathir, because the Quran does not really give any detail of Ayub. And the reason for that is that Quran is the book of guidance. It is not the book of narrations. It is telling these stories to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam so that his heart gets stronger, so he does not deviate like other prophets deviated. So all these things are told in the form of a guidance to him. So the story starts in the realm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the heavenly realm. One day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having meeting with his malaika. And that meeting, these malaikas are saying there are people on this planet Earth. Some of them are bad, but there is one person. This person's name is Ayub alayhi salam. He's good. He's generous. He gives his wealth. He respects others. Above all, he worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly. Not only that, he gives shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Shaitan is listening to this story hidden. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the Shaitan in this meeting, saying, when I made this insan, you were poo-pooing this idea. You were very skeptical about this people I created. Look at what Malaika is saying. There is a man named Ayub on the planet Earth, and he is very generous. He is doing everything what I'm supposed to make these human beings to do. Shaitan says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not so fast, God, not so fast. Did you consider that he is worshiping you and he is doing all these things because you have given him a lot of blessings? You have given him a lot of na'mas. That's why he's doing it, not because he loves you or he worships you. So why don't we bet something that if you remove all his stuff, all of the blessings he has, then we want to find out whether he is really worshiping for the sake of worshiping. Is he pious because piety is good? He is pious because the righteousness is good, not because he has been provided all these riches and other things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a lot of confidence in Ayub alayhi salam because he was one of the ambiyas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, you are on. So first thing he goes and he goes into 3 stages. First of all, he removes his his possessions and goes to in the form of a man to Ayub alayhi salam, where he says, look, all your possessions are gone. Why are you still worshiping? Why are you thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right now? Because he's not giving you anything. And Ayub alayhi salam, very steady. He said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Whatever belongs to me belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our return is to him. Shaitan constantly poking at him, but he doesn't budge. He constantly remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He constantly worship him. He constantly give thank to him. Then he goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, look, he's still worshiping. You said we take his possession. He said, no. He has other things as well. He has got his family. He has got his health. We have to remove all those nama from him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give permission to him before shaitan goes to do all those things. He tells him, look, do not remove his mind and do not remove his heart where he worship me. And also do not kill him. So he goes there and removes all of that and creates a lot of problems for him. His body has got sores. He has got everything gone. His children has been taken away from him. And these are the three things human beings love. We love mal, we love our awlad, we also love our health. These are the three things. All these three things were taken away from him. Then he goes to Ayub alayhi salam again and asks him, look, everything is gone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't love you. You are worshipping for no reason. And Ayub alayhi salam was constantly worshipping in his all this difficulty and adversity struck upon him. He's saying sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, sometimes he takes. It belongs to him. Shaitan is perplexed. He said, what to do now? Because this man is steady. He's always worshiping. I have taken everything from him. Then he goes to his wife and tells his wife, look, your husband is almost dying. Why don't you ask him? Why doesn't he ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure him as well as, and he should not give thanks to him? His wife was persuaded and goes to him and says to him, how long are you going to lie down like this? Why don't you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your cure? Ayub alayhi salam gets very angry on his wife. He tells her, how long have I been living? She says, you have been living for 80 years. And then he asks, how long I have been sick like this? He's saying it's only 7 years. He's saying, I cannot go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I have to be in par with what I have been given blessings with and what I have to at least 80 years. And he tells his wife, if I get well, I'm going to hit you with 100 lashes. Now that's where I think non-Muslims will get it, that Quran encourages wife beating. That is not the case. It has been mentioned in Surah AMDA, in Surah Thad. I'm going to describe it. That is not the case. So this is where Allah, his wife leaves him, he has nothing. He's worshipping. In the first bout, he goes in Surah AMBIYA, he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. He says, wa Ayyuba is nada rabbuhu anni massaniya adurru anta arhamur rahimin. This is his first dua he makes after his mal is taken away from him. Wa Ayyuba, Ayyub alayhi salam, is nada rabbuhu, he calls his Lord. Anni, that I. Massaniya is to touch me. Touch me. Adurra, a harm has touched me. Anta arhamur rahimin, you are the person who you are the one who are the you are the Lord who are the Arhamur Rahimin. You provide Raham to people who provide Raham. That's what it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is higher than Raham. He provides Rahimah. So he's not asking for cure me. He's saying, Anta Arhamur Rahimin. You are the most merciful, basically. So this is, you have to look at it. This is the story, basically, it starts in Quran. But you don't know what I just described you, the story, which is mentioned in Hebrew Bible in very detail. It's also mentioned by Ibn Kathir. But they have everything lined up from there because Ibn Kathir has studied this thing and he provided all these details of the tafsir. So he's telling basically our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we are going through those difficulties right now. And he's describing this problem to him. Ayyuba is nada rabbahu, when he had all these difficulties. Anni masanni adurru, that I've been, touched with this harm. Anta arhamur rahimin, you are the most merciful of mercifuls. Then Ayyub alayhi salam say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling this thing now. Wastajabna lahu, we responded to him. Wakashafna ma bihi min durri, and we removed his kashafna, we removed his difficulty. Whatever this durra, whatever this harm was on him, we removed him. And we gave him whatever he has lost. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَعْطَيْنَاهُ وَمِثْلُهُمْ مَعَهُمْ رَحْمَةً مِّنْ عِنْدِنَا, because he's saying in Anta Arhamur Rahimin, Rahmatan min indana, that this is the rahmah from us to him. وَذِكْرَى لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَذِكْرَى لِلْعَابِدِينَ, and this is the instructions. These are the warnings to people who are the worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the second bout was given to him when his health was taken away from him. Now he asked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's reminding our Prophet, Wazkur abdana Ayyuba iznada rabbahu anni masaniya ash-shaytanu binusbun wa azab. This time Wazkur, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding our Prophet, Wazkur, recall, I told you this story before. Abdana Ayyuba, about my servant Ayyub. Nada rabbahu, that he called upon me, to his Lord. Anni masaniya, that I have been touched. Ash-shaytanu, this time shaitan has touched me. Binusmin wa azab, a harm and a torment. I have been touched by shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides a solution for this. He's asking him, Urkus beyajilika haza mughtasul baradun wa sharab. He's asking him that you strike your foot on the ground and there is a water will come out. Take the bath from that water and drink that water. Because think about it, his body is completely gone. And this is the cure, the water of the cure. He takes the shower with it. His skin starts growing. And when he drinks, his internal organs start growing. So he becomes whole. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, Wahabna lahu ahlahu wa misluhum ma'ahum rahmatan minna. And then we restored his habla, we granted his family back to him. Similar than whatever he had, even more than that. Rahmatan min indana. This is the rahmah, this is the mercy from us. وَذِكْرَى لِلْأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. And this is the instruction, these are the warning to people of ulil albab, people of intellect. The first one was abidin, people who are using their heart, basically worshipping. And this time he's saying this is also instruction for people who are intellectually. They're rational. They're discussing from their mind. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. You remember Ayyub alayhi salam made a promise at that time that he is going to hit with his wife with 100 lashes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala softened that thing. He's asking, وَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ دِغْزًا فَضْرِبْ بِهِ. Take the grass, bunch of grass, and hold it in your hand. فَضْرِبْ بِهِ, hit with her. وَلَا تَحْنُسْ, so that you do not break your oath. Inna wajadnahu sabiran, we found Ayyub alayhi salam among the sabiran, among the person who is patient. Ni'mal abdu, he was the excellent worshipper. Innahu awwab, he oft returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what all given to in the Quran. These 6 ayahs are given. I gave you elaborate side of that. Now let me just discuss a little bit of thing why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. The Quran is very clear in and prophets has makes this thing very clear. Our idea of musibah, our idea of suffering is completely explained in Quran. And this is the part of the test and trial. Bala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَنَّبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. We will test you. The people who know Arabic, وَلَنَّبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, there is the lam of taqeed, and annakum is again, we will surely will test you. This world is for test. وَلَنَّبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ, with things. مِنَ الْجُوعِ, with hunger. Samarat, and other things. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, and there is a good news for sabirin, people who take the sabr as their ultimate goal. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ وَقَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Whenever this thing befalls on them, they say, I belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and my return is to him. And this suffering, psychologically, if you talk to psychologists, the people who suffer, and they want to know the reason why they are suffering, and they want to question it. They don't find question. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning these are the things given to you, nothing you can do. These are the part of life. There is a hadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's saying, who are the people? Ibn Waqqas asked our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who are the people who will be most suffering in this dunya? He said, Ambiyas, these are Rasuls. Then he asked, who else? Better. Then next better. That was his answer. These are the people who will be basically suffering the most in this world. Because this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ahsaban nasu an yatruku an yaqulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun. This is fitna, is the word. That's like a bala. Do the people think that they will be left alone just to say, we believe, and they will not be tried? That's not a good idea. Because as long as you are a dunya, if you go and try to do something, people will challenge you. There is a strife called fitna. We have a lot of fitna in our own religion. We fight among each other because we want to prove our points. So if you want to do anything good in this world, people will oppose you. This is the condition of this dunya. The book of Hebrew Bible, I think conclusions are very murky. Conclusions are basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and Ayub is keep asking question, I'm innocent. I haven't done anything. He has 3 friends visiting him and they're asking him same. And their understanding of the time is saying, look, Mr. Ayub, you must have done something wrong. Nobody suffers until they have committed sin. You must have committed sin at least. He said, no, I'm innocent. And in Bible as well, in the beginning it says, Ayub is innocent. He's a good moral character. And here I think that his friends are blaming him, he is innocent, and he goes in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he calls Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And where he says, and he was not given answers. But in between the line, if I read this book of Job and the book of Quran, our Quran, which is a book of guidance, they are telling very similar stories. Do not blame somebody who's the victim of something. This misery and suffering is not as a result of sin in this dunya. If that was the case, if you're parking the car and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a moral agent, he is not taking you to task every minute of the day. He will see you later on in the akhirah, but here he's not morally judging everybody. In the book of Job, he's saying, look, if I morally judge everybody, minute by minute, this world will not be functioning as it is. If you park the car wrong way and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will strike you dead, minute by minute, that doesn't happen. You have committed sin, but sin has nothing to do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, this is a test and trial. Whenever we go through these sufferings, I have myself 3 years ago, I have 2 granddaughters were born. One was born in San Francisco, healthy. Another one was born in South Carolina. She has a heart congenital disease. She was operated 2 hours later. The question people ask, why innocent suffer? What she has done wrong? I have to go deep in Quran. I have to go deep the feeling in my own heart and look at our own religion. As I said, this is a psychological problem. This is a problem. It's not a personal problem to people. It is also a spiritual problem. If people don't understand this thing, they can move away from this. I will not take more time. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, As-salatu was-salam ala Anbiya wa Mursaleen, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu iza nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ah fasaw ila zikrillahi wa zarul bai' zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. Fa iza qudiyatis salatu fantashru fil ardi wabtaghu min fadlillahi wazkurullaha kaseeran la'allakum tuflihun. Inna Allaha wa malaikatuhu yusalluna 'alan nabi ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi ij'alni muqimus salata wa min zurriyyati rabbana wa taqabbal du'a. Rabbana ighfir li wa li walidayya wa lil mu'minina yawma yaqumul hisab. Sallallahu ta'ala ala khair khalqihi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika arhamar rahimin. Aqimus salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Salatul Jummah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعناب وكواعب وأترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حساب رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهم الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. بسم الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If time permits, you can come always for the second Jama and the third Jama, which starts at 2:45 and 3:45. And please do not park the car in the grasses, or do not actually block the water hydrants and the fire hydrants. Just park the car in the parking lot properly. Inshallah, we will have our fundraising on 16th of April, Saturday, and the first Tarabi will start on Friday night, the first Ramadan, inshallah, will be on Saturday. And we will offer the sponsored iftar every Friday and Saturday. So please donate generously for the masjid expansions, and for the iftar, you can also sponsor. In the both side, there is a sheet, you can register your name over there. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.